Hello, everybody. Welcome to the trade recap for April 30th, 2025. So, going into the session, we had 10 a.m. news, so I wasn't looking to take a trade or even look at the markets at least until 10. Going into the session, though, I was leaning bullish. We have a 4-hour that we're tapping into. I wanted to see if we could tap into this unfilled 4-hour right here, but even if we didn't, it wasn't a requirement because we done took all this sell side over here and over here. So already going into it, I was already bullish. So what I was looking for at that point. I wanted news to come out, see if like we could hit data lows or something, and then target data highs, target internal structure. We have an unfilled 1-hour that's about to be generated here, and decent targets. So going into it, let's hit the 1 minute. So right here, 954, 6. All right. So news hit, and the first thing I noticed here was that we had a 3 minute. And I saw this and I marked it out, but I didn't actually take this trade. And the reason for that was because I saw these data lows here. I wanted to see them get swept. But the thing about that was I did make one crucial mistake. I didn't check ES, and ES had already swept data lows on the move. So while NQ just ripped right after the 10 a.m. news, ES actually moved a little bit lower, swept out of lows, and then traded higher. And if I would have just paid attention to that time frame alignment, I would have caught this right. But I did mark it out because it did look pretty convincing, nice little V shape. But I ended up not taking this. But what I would have done was I would have got in on the inversion, which is right here, 3 minute. There's our close. I would have gotten right there with my limit. And I wouldn't have had a break even. I would have just full close at TP1 with the unfilled 15. Right over. It's lagging a little. It shows a full candle, but when price action was live, this was unfilled 15, and I was just going to take a quick little trade, but I didn't like that the data lows weren't swept, so I ended up just letting this one play out. And if you see it, played out. And then the trade I actually ended up taking, and this was a $600 trade. We created a 1 minute gap right here, SMT, and overall I was bullish, but we had an unfilled 5 here and here. So my thought process was, okay, we created SMT, we tapped into the unfilled 1-hour. I want to see if I can catch a retracement and then get out at the 5 and then possibly take a long to target the data highs from 8:30 news right there. So that was kind of the thought process there. Um, so when price plays out, boom. So we get our inversion right here. I slapped a limit order. I didn't market execute right here. I just didn't like the risk. So I got in here. I got in for 2 contracts. A little more than what I'd usually risk. I usually try to risk 0.5%. I have 150K funded with Top Step. And I usually like to risk like 750 tops. But I did like the setup. It looked pretty clean to me. So I was in for 2 cons. It was roughly like $1,000. So this is my break-even target. I think this was the first 5. It was not. It was just an internal structure. But TP was also 1-to-1. So I got out at 1 contract here. So we got that tap and immediately got break even. So I closed 1 contract and I had my final TP on the unfilled 5 down here. And then price ended up just going higher and higher and higher. Yeah, we kind of consolidated. I didn't like this. Like, so the only way I was going to take a long at this point, because I was bullish and I knew these data highs were going to get swept at some point, but I wanted to see this 5 get filled. And that never happened. We create another 5 up here, but I wanted it to trade lower. It was just a little too premium for me. I want that equilibrium to get hit, and it was right here. So even though we kind of had this price action here, inversion, I personally didn't like it. It wasn't enough for me to go in. I was already up for the day, and so I wanted to make sure I only got like A plus setups, which for me, A plus setup, you sweep some sort of like internal structure, external, create an SMT, and then you take the highest time frame inversion, which on the last video, it's pretty much 30-second to 5 minute. But I wanted this 5 minutes to get swept. Never happened. I ended up walking off the charts. 11 o'clock hit, and I was done. But that was pretty much a quick summary. I know I was behind on uploading these, and as soon as this gets uploaded, I'm gonna upload the next trade recap. I'm kind of just gonna dump all these in like tonight. Um, there was no excuse for it. I was a little busy with work, but honestly, I should have still made time to upload these, but I'll get better next week. But anyways, this was April 30th.